What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Cities Skylines. My name is Splattercat. I'm happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while longer and play some more of der Video games. So in this episode, it looks like we're going to have some vague office needs. I ended up bulldozing this entire industrial center. They couldn't get workers, so I think exactly what we were presuming in the earlier episode is that we don't have enough uneducated workers to fill in all the spaces. And so finally what I decided to do was, what is this? What is that? What is that? Eventually I decided, let's just turn this whole thing into a service/office economy. We have no choice, and so we're going to get it done. But the first thing that I want to do in today's episode is let's get some more bus lines running. This area has no bus lines at all. This area has no bus lines at all. I'm going to start with this one because it's our current area that we're working on. And then we'll kind of like move some bus stops around, I guess. We'll create a stop. Well, let's create a stop right here on the corner. How's that sound? And in so doing, we'll have a bus go up and down these streets right here. It'll come back around. It'll, I guess, take people down to there. It'll have to flip a U-ey around here somewhere. That's the nearest roundabout, huh? That's the nearest place that it can get back off the trail and do its thing. Well, then fine. Let's go up to here. We'll take it down to here. I've been careful not to leave the game on too high of a speed while I do this because things can sort of escalate while you're not paying attention. And so I prefer it to keep that from happening, or I would prefer to keep that from happening, I guess, if I was to go back and repair that sentence because it was sort of hastily fastened. And we'll bring that up over there. That's another bus line that's done. We'll start a bus line on this corner. We'll have them come back around. Actually, we'll do this elsewhere. Let's start from right here, I guess. And once that's been put in play, we'll add stops all up and down here. Yep, there it is. Perfect. We'll keep it on that side of the road. And then we shall drag it back this way. Bring it down this side. Yes, yes, yes. But this one will go all the way in and over to there. And so after that point, it will make its way back. And then it can honestly like loop back however it wants. Although I think it's going to do it just the way that I wanted it to right there. It's a little bit of a convoluted line. But as long as it covers up some of these areas, we should be pretty good. The area does need public transit. And so I figure if we work on that for a little while, it will pay back at least a little bit. So we'll start another line over here. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's leave that alone for a second. We also need to go back through and connect all of our subway lines. So I think that one's been connected right there, but another subway is not going to hurt. If we put it in on over here, they'll be able to sell sandwiches. They'll be able to get it going. That's why it's called a subway sandwich, by the way, or a sub sandwich. Because they actually used to sell them, I think, back underground at the substations. Just little hoagies around so people going in between work and home could get themselves fed on the way. That right there. I would vet that one, though. I would check just to make sure because I might not be the most educated person to ask about subway history. We don't have subways here, so we have bus lines and we have like BART and some things like that, but it doesn't have the stations like you would assume. Like the stations that we have here are all above ground, and then once that's been taken care of, well, with BART, I think BART goes underneath the bay, but it has normal stations. Like essentially what they are is where you have highways like this. This highway right here, BART will have a station in between so that you can get off the highway, and the BART station will run this whole entire area in between the two roads. And so once you get in there, the BART dives below the ground, but that's really the only underground transit that we have. The other thing that we have here is Amtrak, which is a big it's a big above ground railway that runs, I think, from all the way out in Dallas or something, all the way over to the coast, and then it runs all the way up the coast to Seattle. And so I think it goes from inland from like Dallas all the way over to Los Angeles or something like that. And then once it connects right there, it just runs the coast all the way up to Seattle and then back down. And that's pretty much Amtrak. That's it. I've only ridden it 3 or 4 times. I rode Amtrak. I usually actually prefer to take Amtrak from, if you got no like time constraints, I usually take a train just because I enjoy riding the train. It's a fun experience. But if you've got time constraints, most people just fly because it's like 35 minutes and you're in SoCal instantly. Just like fly out from either Sacramento. I would recommend Sacramento in all honesty. San Francisco, SFO kind of sucks. Whereas Sacramento, their airport, nobody uses it because everybody just uses San Francisco, and so it's actually usually not very crowded, and you can get where you need to go very, very easily. Just advice from somebody who lives in the Bay Area. I would recommend taking Sac Airways instead of taking the San Francisco way. It'll be easier on you. Be less stressful. Create less of a mess, I guess. Hey, that rhymed and it wasn't even intentional. The I guess wasn't anyways. The first half was. Let's add a few more buildings right there. It looks like we're going to end up with a few more residential needs. And so let's satisfy those, shall we? I'm going to take out 4-lane roads right here. And we'll drop those to right there. And I think that's just about all we're going to need on this side. We'll call this light residential. Actually, no, let's call this high density residential. Have like a little inner city area right there. Not much. I put in a little bit right there too, sort of lining the edges of the suburb. But my ultimate goal with all this is to keep it suburban. We'll go over here. Drag this off to the side right there. That looks nice. And then we'll have maybe like one road that sprints off the side of that to right. Come on. You know you want to give it to me. There it is. That's the road that I was looking for. And so that'll give us a little bit more room to work with right there for our suburbs. We'll call this all suburb in here as we fly along. Don't worry about that down there. I'll fix it in just a moment. And so this can all be suburb. This can all be, actually, let's line that up to be high density. How about that? Call that a little bit of the high density right there. Just on the edge of town. And so while that looks nice, that's going to leave us with a little bit of either office space or industrial need. Although given the way that the game has been transitioning and shifting gears, I'm going to assume that it means that we need industrial space. You'll forgive me for just a moment. It's not the rumbling of an earthquake or anything. It's just me moving my microphone around slightly. My boom stand is not in the configuration that I would prefer it to be, and that upsets me sometimes. And so we'll call that office buildings right there. Call it what it is. If it's a horse, it's a horse. If it's a cat, it's a cat, but let's not blow smoke up anybody's ass. Although, why would it matter if somebody blew smoke up your ass? If your ass is feeling nappy and you've got swamp ass going, actually a little bit of a smoke bath could aerate the entire area, make it a little bit more comfortable for you. I'm just saying, while we're talking about specifics right now, it seems like it would be okay. Not too bad. I mean, the blowing part, like somebody being down there like, whew, it seems like that might be a little bit weird. I'd be like, do I know you? Why are you doing that right now? Did I pay you for this at some point? This feels like a service that would be this feels like a service that would be compensated at some point. Let's just take that straight on back over to the rail line. And we'll take this from over maybe off this side right here. We'll have another tunnel run from right there. That looks okay. And then we'll have this one right here. Maybe just sort of junction off that way. And there it is. And so now our tramway system's looking a little bit better. I think we could probably get away with putting in another station down here too, just to help people get in between the different metropolitan centers. But I've been really happy with the way that our city's been developing. I know some people don't like my efficiency methods because my efficiency method is essentially none. However, I'm enjoying playing the game, so, you know. Wait, are they just going to go back that way? Well, then maybe I should put in another station over here somewhere. Possibly, maybe. Like something right there. Or something over here, perhaps. Something to just get us around a little bit better. And then I'll finish off the line in just a minute. We'll draw that on over to there. We'll draw that to there. That looks good. I like it. And then we'll draw that back over to there. And so now we just need to finish the line. How do I eliminate this line right here? One would think. No, that is not what I want. There we go. We'll kill that line real fast. So now that the line has been killed, create a stop over there. Create a stop right there. We'll finish the line on that side. We'll think about what we want to do with this over here in just a moment. As we create a new line from there that runs to there, to there, and then back, I guess, so that that's being utilized right there with that little railway. It looks pretty good, though, for right now. We don't have to fiddle around with it too much. What is this over here? Oh, that's the train station, the cargo train terminal, isn't it? And I haven't been using that at all, so I can actually... Yeah, let's just get rid of you. I could move it around a little bit, but I have no plans as of right now to really mess with it too much. We have a normal train station. I don't know what you do with a train station, though. Like, do you just put it in here and then you run trains places? That seems like, I don't know, just like a waste of time, to be honest. Like, who rides a train anymore? Like, The harbor, however, seems like it might be a good idea. So the harbor's going to cause all kinds of noise. It's going to cause all kinds of traffic, too. And so when orchestrating the way that we want to position it, putting it right here seems like it's going to exacerbate our issues with this freeway. But since I've already got the road networks already run, I see no reason not to do this, so let's just go for it. I think we might regret this. What kind of road is this? That's a 6-lane right there? Well, hell. Let's play the upgrade game then, and we'll just let it have whatever it wants, and it should be able to transport goods fairly well. I guess you could say that it could transport good if you wanted to be grammatically terrible. We'll run some water over to there so that it does. You're surrounded by water. I guess it means it wants fresh water from the sewage system, I suppose. We'll see what the harbor brings in. It said that it should bring in tourism. It's unfortunate that this area is not accessible by any waterway. Makes me sad to think about because I feel like I might be wasting equitable space, but could also put in another harbor over here if we wanted to. The harbor that I went to when I had to sail out for... I guess the harbor that I went for, I'm not going to say where I was sailing to because I don't really remember too well. I was on a harbor when I was a kid for some reason. We had like a long journey in front of us where we had to go from one place to another. But as I recall, it was right next to an industrial, like the tourist harbor was right next to the industrial harbor too. So I don't think there would be any harm or fouling going through here. Maybe just position it slightly better and then run another 6-lane down through. No, I don't want to upgrade right now. I just want to run a road out that way and we'll connect it. And then just in case it gets super crazy over there, we'll run some water. It also doesn't have electrical supply, strangely enough. That's a little bit unexpected. Well, there you go. There's your own personal power cable. Do you feel powerful right now? You're like, moderately. Not super, but a little bit. Is that ever going to fix? There we go. I was going to say that should fix eventually. Body problems looking like they're cropping up around the place. I've had a tremendous amount of problems just like keeping bodies in motion. That's been like one of my big struggles of this entire playthrough is trying to make sure that like we constantly have people to move dead bodies to other locations. It's been like a weirdly fascinating part of my journey. I'm going to continue. Actually, it looks like we could use some commercial. Not much though. I don't think I'm going to waste a ton of time putting in loads of it, but let's put in like a couple little blocks right here. That should take care of some of that commercial. Hopefully it doesn't become like giant blocks of empty buildings because we did have that problem. Our subway station has no power. Do those run on electricity? I think they probably run on electricity. That's a little bit unfortunate. However, you can sort of fix that a little bit by putting some houses out here. And so as that travels over, that gives us our tiny bit of commercial that we needed right there. Maybe a little bit of commercial right there and a little bit of commercial right there. Just so people can't say that I'm not working on it because people love to complain about the government. And so obviously I'm just trying to make things as smooth as possible while we go through all this. Keep them well shaven. Keep those nasty little nubs and ingrown hairs from jumping out and biting me in the ass come election season. Looking really, really good. What a city. What a city. If we go down to the ground, it's just like you can watch the altitude of all the buildings increase as they get towards the center. And that's precisely what I was going towards. So what do these do for us down here? They ship materials in and out of the city. And then the harbor is going to keep us going by... Do I need to set up lines for that or anything? Or does it just like function on its own? I guess it functions on its own. It's out here trying to function. Alright, well, let's keep staring in this direction then. We're going to keep on developing this way. I think this area is looking pretty ripe. Well, I don't know. This road right here sort of killed our need, didn't it? Then again, I suppose we could go like a little 4-banger road right there. And then we could also, just to make use of all this space, do it again on this side. Although that may mess up some of our zoning. So actually going out like so might be a better plan. And once that's been done, we can take one singular road right here and we can put it on curvy mode. We can just sort of like swoop that out to right there. and then swoop that out to right there so that we're using as much of that space as possible because I don't want to waste any of it. We'll go up in there. Good, good. Cool. Very awesome. We're looking pretty decent right now. Our industrial seems to have hit an equilibrium. Our commercial's looking alright. We might have over-commercialized this over here. You need to be careful about it because you will end up with empty buildings because people will move straight in. They'll be excited about the prospects of making more money. There are very few things in life that get people as excited as the prospects of making money. Keep that in mind as you go through. And many, many things will make a lot more sense as you live your life. However, let's get some services up and in here, shall we? Because we are going to be developing this really, really soon. Get you going right there. Looks like they have some serious death problems down here. People dying like wild. Dying like wild. And nothing dies like wild things. Wild things are constantly dying. That's just like part of nature. Put in a little police station right there. Start thinking about our educational needs too. So a little bit of education right there. Right where this runs out on that side, we'll build that right there because this is going to be a big premier suburb in just a little bit. Want to keep everybody nice and educated. We're down to 8% right now on our uneducation, which is great. That's fantastic. That's a really, really good number to be at. I didn't actually go through and look up municipal numbers for the area that I live in to sort of like vet that number, but it seems okay to me as far as government numbers go. 8% uneducated, 8% non-graduation rate doesn't seem super horrible. It seems inside boundaries and limits. Let's give ourselves some more residential up in here. It's going to develop very, very slowly. But that's okay. We don't need it right now. Oh, we do actually. We do sort of need this right now. Well, maybe I was wrong. Let me speed this up so that while I paint this on in here, we can start to get our power infrastructure a little bit moved around. There's a little bit of residential right there, although I would prefer... Let's keep this for jobs, maybe. We'll keep that for residential, whereas this area over and in here, the fill tool might be easier for this side. Yeah. That seems to be going okay. I haven't used the fill tool in a while, so I've been feeling bad about it. Let's get the fill tool up and in there. I prefer to keep this for maybe like jobs. This can definitely be a suburb right here, though. That's what I was aiming for right there. We can call that a suburb. And once you get a little further in, I'm going to start calling this office space right here. Although it looks like we have a little bit of extra room for some more commercial buildings. So let's do that. That'll do. And then for office buildings, we'll throw in a couple right there. And now all that's left is to wait and let things do their own functions. How are these building in right here? Why are these not upgrading? Does it take time? We don't have enough educated laborers. If you look, they won't fully upgrade until they have spots. We have too many highly educated people, actually. We have 7 out of 3, and I don't think they fill downwards, do they? They might fill downwards. I don't know. It looks like they are, actually. If you look, the one empty space right there, because there's 3, 3, and 2, that's making our 8. And so we have highly educated filling in for both well-educated and educated. So I guess they do fill in for jobs that they're overqualified for if they have no choice. Who knew? Who knew? Let's take a look at our ability to supply electricity. It's looking very solid. Our ability to supply water is dwindling a little bit, but it won't be a concern for a while. Happiness is looking really good. Commercial happiness actually lagging behind everything, but every time I build a commercial zone, what I find is that it ends up very, very empty and like going out of business constantly, and so I'm always a little bit nervous about commercial zoning. It's just been my struggle throughout the course of this entire thing. Let's go some high density right there, and if it falls through, it falls through, but that's what the people are saying that they want, so let's commercialize a little bit. Let's commercialize, shall we? I also think throwing in another park might not be so terrible of a problem. Maybe a little park right there so that it's not harming anybody, nor fouling anybody, nor breaking their knees. And a little one over there for the future. Just to keep those smiles on a growth pattern. And then before much longer, I'd say we should probably start to cordon off some of this as well. Because this area is starting to look a little dismal. So there it is. Big park right in the center for anybody that might want it. Very, very pleased about the way that the city is going. And I hope you're enjoying this playthrough. I know it's not like an optimal playthrough, but we're doing pretty well right now. We've got garbage overflowing on this side. How are you doing over here on this side? 45%. It might be time to rezone in something over here, like another garbage plant or something, to make sure that that doesn't happen. It may be due to the fact that he's way on the opposite side of the city and he can't get over there to clear it out. Or it may just be a short-term problem. But it looks to be cropping up as a consistent issue on this side. Let me see how I can deal with this right now. All three of these buildings, for whatever reason, have themselves aligned along some kind of weird fault line for garbage piling up. I don't know. We'll put that in right there, and maybe it looks like the 2 trucks is gonna. It may not operate for very long. I don't know. Got 45% full right there. That guy's at a decent amount of garbage. Maybe focus on unloading that so that it'll go into both of those and we can front stock it for a while. We've got 6 citizens over on that side. It looks like we've got no clinics on this side of the city, so it might be a good plan also to maybe bulldoze a little bit and make sure that the people that are sick are getting the attention that they need. They're such attention whores. That's the only reason that they get sick. They're just like, give me attention. Oh my god, I'm so sick. And so see over here with this general store area, not enough workers. There's never enough workers. I might be doing too good of a job at educating. Too good of a job at educating. It's a little embarrassing, but there are worse things you could say about your particular brand of city management. Definitely worse things you could say. I could connect that right there, but I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to let it ride and run for as long as it wants to. We're looking really, really good right now, so I think I'm going to hang out. I believe that I'm going to allow the city to build on top of itself for right now. We don't have enough workers for these commercial areas, so maybe that's why we need the high-density ones? Yeah, we need the high-density ones. I might stay away then from low-density from now on. Let's go ahead. I was going to break off the episode, but since we're already looking at dezoning, let's just do that real fast. And once that's been dezoned, let's focus on high density then. High density seems to be doing a lot better for us considering our workforce is much more educated than they were previously, and I think that's why these are cropping up and doing so well, whereas these are doing so poorly. So anyways, my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle. I'm going to let her ride for a little bit, and once she gets done, we'll come back and do the next episode, okay? I'll see you all there. Hi-do! City Skylines. Check it out down below if you wanted to purchase the game. Bye, everybody.